What is the ideal par 3 length?
Every par 3 should be under 175 yards. If you can't make a good par 3 under that distance, then what's the point?
I think a great example would be where we've just been, Dornoch, where all of them were under 150 and there were just deep bunkers around it, and then just, big slopes and stuff like that. Obviously, like postage stamp as well,
Yeah, and they were frigging terrifying.
Yeah, so it's,
Were we not having this conversation last year about, where Wyndham won, where there was like, where it was like 73-yard par 3.
Yeah.
But pin position and the way the hole's designed and everything like that, that's all it takes. You don't need it to be, you don't hit the green, it still can be a 5.
I think there's a huge difference between having a tough, fun, memorable par 3 and then making one 301 yards. So that's memorable for the wrong reasons, because it's impossible to make that interesting.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have an interesting green with that length of the shot, because everyone's just going to be hitting either 3-wood. It's just, there's going to be a fair number of the fields probably going to hit a driver into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's making it tough, and it's
It's
making
a
it
ridiculous
stupid.
thing to say.
I just don't.
That is a ridiculous thing to say.
I don't like stuff like that. I love the fact that the US Open is the toughest test in golf. I love it has that identity. I love the fact that around level par is the score that's probably going to win. But not doing it like that. That's just stupid.
No, I agree.
Anyway, off me.
It's
Off my box.
You're quite right, though. The battle against the technology that has come into play in the last few years has just been to make everything tighter and make the rough longer and thicker and make the holes 700 yards.
It's not a battle against technology. That just needs to be a battle against common sense. It's just not going to work out how they want it to, because the battle of technology and the battle against technology and to make courses play to par will not be done through distance, because if you make it long and you make the rough super thick, that plays into the hands of the longer hitters more. Because Bryson at Shinnecock, they basically Bryson-proofed that golf course. They made it incredibly long. They made the rough as thicker than really Oakmont, and yet he still won.
You mean Wingfoot?
Wingfoot, yeah. Because it was super long. He just bombed it down there, gouged it out to around the front of the green, made a few putts and got up and down. Like, that's not a tough test of golf. That's just ploughing and heaving.
He may have as well have had a scythe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, he's just harvesting that golf course.
And we're back on the Industrial Revolution. Thank you so much, Peter Finch.
Agricultural revolution.
That was definitely one, like you say, like you kind of, because obviously that was in his sort of beefy era, and you just knew that was his game plan, and it just fell into his hands. And it was like, the US Open is one thing I love about the US Open is that it is a test, and it tests everything, but you don't really know your winner. Whereas with Wingfoot, I think you did.
Yeah, 301 yards, par 3 is not testing anybody apart from patience.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I feel like I'm
Credulity.
I don't think
confident in saying this is the longest ever in US Open history, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's been any longer
I
than
think the
this.
thing is that over the 4 days, they'll probably play it 300 yards once, and the rest of the time it'll be a 240 and a 265 and whatever.
Still disgusting.
But it's still way too long.
Yeah.
But listen, people know what they're going to get from US Open. I think this is slightly different because of the weather as well, potentially. And because of the restoration, it's not tight. Like, you have fairways, you don't have a first cut, so you're basically there or then you're in the rough. But if you wanted to lay back a little bit, it's pretty wide. Like, if you're a good long guy and a mid-iron player, you don't have to smash driver everywhere.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds stupid, but 7,300 yards isn't that long. If it's warm,
I think this is what kind of is that I don't think it plays 7-3 either way anyway, because of the elevations and the changes and stuff, like, and some of the dog legs and stuff makes it shorter. So like I say, when I was watching Dustin's round, like, he hit a lot of long irons and 3-woods off tees on a 7,300 yard course, which doesn't sound right, but it
dry
is.
that year.
It was dry. It was
Average,
dry, but
yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say, like, the winning score this week might be towards double digits.
You think?
Yeah,
Double digits under.
because like some of the past scores. So you had Dustin 2016, he was 4 under, Angel Cabrera, who is winning every single seniors major since he's been relieved from prison. Ernie Els won at 5 under, 4 under, 5 under, 1 under. Like the biggest score over is 1935, Sam Parks Jr., who was 11 over.
Yep.
So I've got on my notes here, he played Oakmont daily to prep. I don't know how many days that was.
The 137 days before.
Since the previous US Open.
Yeah, he just never
he
left.
just went.
Which is, a little bit wild. But I think...
I don't think that's... I don't think it's a disgraceful thing to say. Larry was 7 under going into the final round in 2016.
Yeah. I just got this feeling about it with it being really wide, the rough being, yes, thick. But I don't know.
I think the players are so good that it won't matter how thick they make the rough. It won't matter how tight they make the fairways. These guys are so good that they'll find a way to make it work. Or they'll hit a shorter club so that they're in the fairway, and then they'll hit a long, like you said, like a longer one in. Or they'll smash it through the back of the green into the rough and then hack it out and get up and down. Like they're just,
but it's that 100 and in,
enough.
isn't it? Because you say if they find the rough, hack it out, and they've still got 97 in. Yeah. But they still are so good at hitting it to 5-6 foot and holing putts.
Yeah. All you're trying to do at this point is avoid double. If you make a bogey, that's fine. Get one back somewhere else. But these guys are so good. I think I would like it to be like level 1 under, 2 under, but I just don't think it's going to be.
No, I just got this feeling this week, and it's not a historically as well. Putting around here is actually not that important because it is more of a ball striking golf course. However, with the changes that they've made, the greens a lot kind of you can just feel them. You can see the slopes like a lot more. A few of the greens have been remodeled. Maybe it might put a bit more of a premium on there. But like if you look back at US Open winners, we're not seeing many short hitters there. Like it is all about power.
Yeah.
So who do you think, what type of player do you think is going to win then?
With an asterisk.
For God's sake.
Apart from Scotty.
Yeah.
I think, shall we do our predictions first and then actually get Jacob to tell us who is going to win?
Yeah.
It is seemingly set up for Bryson. Like he obviously won last year, long hitter. If he goes in the rough, he can gouge it out. There's not that many players who have his amount of power, not only off the tee, but out of those bad lies. Like he's probably the best in the world at that. You do have golfers like Ryan Fox, for example, who won the Canadian. But yeah, I'm looking at Bryson. I don't really see many players other than him, obviously apart from Scotty, who will compete.
So you're Bryson?
I think so.
I think my top 2 is, unless Rory solves some incredible problem over the course of the next 4 days.
What is going on there?
I think it comes down to whether Scotty has a 9 out of 10 week. If he does, no one will beat him. If he has an 8 out of 10 week and Bryson plays to his potential, then Bryson wins.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I don't really need to add much more than that. I think the only thing I would say would be that
Brooks?
No, that's not.
Not Brooksy?
No.
I honestly thought you were going to say the 3-peat is coming.
No.
I kind of thought he only wins USPGA and US Open.
Exactly.
That's all he wins.
Yeah. No, unfortunately not.
It's done, is he? Brooksy's done.
It might be done. I mean, this type of thing would suit him, but yeah, let's not talk about him. But I the only thing I disagree with, I think it will be kind of. I don't think it'll be double digits because even if the US Open, like the USGA, kind of see that it's becoming easier, or see that the ability to with the greens they can get them up to something ridiculous like 15 on the stimp. So with the slopes, obviously, like so I think it's going to be no more than 6, no more. But Bryson or maybe Ludwig.
Ludwig.
Oh, I don't know about Ludwig.
Yeah,
because he's a good long iron player.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, let's face it. There's a lot of amazing players out there. So I think that's what I mean with the greens, with the course conditions. If it is going to be a bit wet, they'll be able to get the greens dry, but because of the slopes, there's only so fast that they'll actually be able to make them.
Yeah, otherwise they'll be unplayable.
Yeah.
I mean, the US Open in the past has run that very ragged edge between being playable and unplayable. And like I said, if the score is getting quite low, they might just like dry them out and make them tough. But I think there is a point where if the ball isn't sitting still on the green, they'll have to like keep them a little bit playable. But we'll see. Again, we might all be wrong. It might be like 12 over par.
I can only imagine as well with the.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I'd love it to be.
I can only imagine with the weather that's coming in. I can only imagine if it does get wet, the rough becomes even more.
Yeah,
that's in my head. That kind of.
But then again, it suits the longer place to fly and carry it. I've got to be honest. I think the biggest factor might be wind. Like if it's windy around there, that's a big issue. Because also you've got no funneling now through any trees or anything like that. It's quite an exposed golf course. So if it is going to be windy and you've got that rough, all of a sudden that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if it's quite calm and generally in the middle of America, it can be pretty still at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.